And a very good evening, everyone, from the Cadet First Class Club here at West Point. It's yet another edition of This Week in Army Football. Here with you on a holiday Monday following a big Army win on Saturday at West Point. Family weekend as the Black Knights defeated Charlotte by the final score of 24-7, evening their mark at 3-3 on the year with a big game coming up on the road at Tulane on Saturday. Army took what was a punishing defensive performance and a running game which produced a 140-yard game for quarterback Cale Helms on the ground, including a 50-yard marathon run down inside the 1-yard line to set up Army's first touchdown, and the Black Knights come away with their first home victory of the season before a sellout crowd. We'll talk about that and Army Tulane coming up on Saturday throughout the next hour. But how about a welcome for the star of our show on This Week in Army Football, head coach of the Black Knights, Jeff Monken. Jeff, welcome. Welcome to the show. What a performance on Saturday against Charlotte.
We were just glad to get a win at home. Rich, I'm telling you, I mean, we've had just great football games there this year. The two previous ones ended up in overtime, and unfortunately we couldn't come out on top. So I was so pleased with our guys on Saturday to really have a dominating victory and to play so well. It was a great crowd, sold out, and really a great atmosphere for college football, and it was a lot of fun. So it sure is fun to win, and you put all that time in and all that investment, and our guys have had a couple of really good weeks of practice, and it's paid off. So I was pleased to see that, happy for our team, and now we're getting ready for maybe the best opponent we faced so far this year.
And that will be a rematch of the 2024 American Championship game. But going back to this past Saturday, second straight week, you got a terrific performance from your defense. And I know everyone that was still in the stadium, I know it was raining, and us in the radio booth rooting for your team to keep them out of the end zone right on that last. The game within a game. And I know that, hey, that group's getting a lot of snaps, which is important for them in their development. Nearly kept them out of the end zone at the end.
They did, and that's 2 weeks in a row, right to the end, the last drive. And as you said, it was some of our backup guys, our guys getting a chance to get some experience and be in the game. Our defense really has played extremely well for the last 3 games, the last 3 quarters of the East Carolina game, and then the last 2 full football games have played really, really well. Coach Woody and the staff doing a terrific job, but our players executing. And what we've done the last couple of weeks is improve on our tackling. There was a stretch there for a couple games in a row, the North Texas game and East Carolina game. We didn't tackle very well, and in fact had 20 or more missed tackles in each of those games. That's a lot of missed tackles. And we put a lot of time into it. Our guys really take a lot of pride in it, and they've done a great job the last couple of weeks, as I said, and that's improved. And we've just played overall better defense. And to hold a team to 1 score, though be it at the very end of the game, I mean that's a great defensive performance. So really proud of those guys, and proud of the effort they put in. And if we can have another performance like that, then we'll have ourselves at least competitive.
On the offensive side of the ball, Cale Helms got the start. I know that was going right down to really the day before the game who was going to be the starter. 143 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. From where Cale Helms was before the season, the opening game, speak to his improvement and then manifesting itself in running the offense tremendously, a big game running the ball in 2 scores.
A lot of maturity comes from experience, particularly at that position, having a chance to play, and it's easier at other positions to rotate guys in and get them a few snaps here and there. It's much more difficult to do that at quarterback, and you got to be the guy. You got to be in the game and move the team up and down the field and take your lumps, and he's taken some lumps, but he's improved over the course of the season, and you can just see his confidence building, and he had a great game on Saturday. Did a great job taking care of the ball, had the really long run, like you said, to set up the first score in that counter play, and really pleased with the way he played and the way he led our team, and his toughness and leadership out there, the competitiveness. You know, when you look for a quarterback, to me, there are some intangibles that you really want. You want a guy that's tough, you want a guy that's a leader, and you want a guy that's a winner. And I think that's what he is. And that doesn't mean if a guy has those traits that he's instantly going to be a successful quarterback. He's got to execute as well, but that comes with experience. It comes with time, and I think Cale's been able to do that. So he earned the start this past Saturday, and that was based on what he had done, what he did at UAB, what he did throughout the week, and Coach Worley just felt like that was going to be the right move to start him. So we made that decision late in the week, and it worked out for us. He did a great job.
Are you in position to name a starting quarterback for this Saturday at Tulane?
Cale, I think, earned that this past week with the way he played. He earned the opportunity to have the start again this Saturday, and we will continue to prepare all those guys, particularly he and Dwayne. Those guys are at the top of the depth chart together, and we'll have them both prepared to play. And I think perhaps we'll see both of them again like we did this past week.
So Cale Helms will get the start on Saturday on the road at Tulane. One more question about the 50-yard run by Cale Helms, and he was. It was what he's, I almost felt like the Chariots of Fire music we could have put under the run, right? He's getting there. He's finally caught inside the one.
It looked a little bit like slow motion.
It did. A little bit near there. But here's my question, right? He goes down, and then you call the quarterback sneak. Is there thought of, oh, my gosh, he had this long, lumbering run. Let's do something that's not going to require him rolling out or having to do maybe more exertion than a quarterback sneak?
No, I think he was okay at that point in the game. They do get taxed and tired, and that happens as the game goes along early enough in the game that I don't think he was worn out yet. But he does have a tendency to kind of get up breathing heavy after a long run like that.
That was interesting. He took a lot of punishment for the second straight game. He took a lot of hits.
He did, and when your run game includes a +1 as a quarterback, or he's gonna be a ball carrier. They're gonna take some hits, and but our guys are built for that. They're prepared for it. We work them hard in the weight room like everybody else. So they're not softies. They can get in there and dole it out. And he's a tough kid. He wants to run the football. I think that he takes a lot of pride in that and really sees himself as a guy that can be an effective runner. And so he does a good job. The sneak play right after that was done. We got a great surge, and he was right behind those guys and barreled into the end zone. He had to do that a couple of times. We got down there on the goal line and ran 2 sneaks in a row. Didn't get in on 3rd down, and then he kind of crammed it in there and reached it over on 4th down, which was obviously a big score for us.
So big win for you on Saturday over Charlotte. Now you'll turn it around. Rematch of the 2024 American Championship game, 35-14, just an overall dominating performance. Army was at home and a decided underdog against that Tulane team, which was coming off the big victory, which coming off the loss to Memphis on Thanksgiving night, or else they would have hosted the championship game. This is a lot different Tulane team, especially at that quarterback position. Darian Mensah parlayed last year against Tulane into a big payday with Duke. Jake Retzlaff came in late during the summer, and he is fighting for that starting quarterback position right now with the Green Wave.
Well, I'm not sure they didn't improve at quarterback. He is tough. He can run the ball. He's a great leader. Had a great year. 11 wins with BYU last year. And I mean, Tulane's one of the best teams in the Group of 5 across the nation, and certainly one of the top teams in our conference, if not the best team in our conference. So, really impressed with them. They're a different team, but so are we. And we lost some guys ourselves. We lost a quarterback, and obviously, working a new quarterback into our system. So it's 2 different teams, but I think 2 teams that are really going to fight and be hungry to win, and hopefully we can make it a great football game. I know just Coach Summerall and how he prepares his team and his personality, and that comes out in his teams. I really admire him. I think he's an outstanding football coach, and they have a tough, hard-nosed, physical football team, and I admire that brand of football. But that makes it particularly difficult to face those guys. So hopefully we're going to have a great week of practice. I'll just settle for that. And if we can get that and then go down there and back that up with another good performance and try to battle those guys in their home field, we'll see if we can get it done.
And we'll have our special guest coming up in just a moment. And it's great to see players progress through their 4 years. And how about this past Saturday? First career start for someone who said his name a lot over the past 3+ seasons. That's Jabril Williams, who became the tip of everyone's tongue back in 2022, the Army-Navy game. He and a fellow freshman at the time, Noah Short, collaborating on the block punt, then recovery in the back of the end zone for the touchdown against the midshipmen. He's been a stalwart on special teams for you, working his way into the rotation in the defensive backfield.
Well, in the 3 seasons leading up to this year, in fact, in 22 and 23 combined, we had 4 touchdowns, 4 blocked punts for touchdowns in those 2 seasons combined, and Jabril was a part of all those. He either blocked it or returned it or recovered it for a touchdown. So he's been a big part of our special teams, and we're really proud of him for getting his first start this past Saturday. He earned it. Has really improved over the course of his career as a DB, and it's awesome to see a guy in his senior year just with the confidence he has and the confidence we have in him. And so proud of him, and he happens to be from my hometown, so that's even more of a bonus here, Rich.
No doubt about that. We're going to have some fun with Jabril Williams coming up when we come back on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club here at West Point on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Close. It's caught. Going to be short. Casey Larkin makes the play. David Nicholas brought it in. Larkin said no with a put-down stop. A yard shy of the marker. Army takes over on downs.
Yeah, this is a mistake by David Nicholas. He runs the route too short. You got to know where the marker is and get to the first down marker. That's
This is third start. Kansas State or Texas. And today, Bartosh, the burst. Brings Bartosh, fourth down and end zone. Game 14.
Yeah, watch how the defense overflows here, and then Bartosh sees it and cuts it right up inside. Watch how the DBs fall over the top. Bartosh feels it out. Great read by the running back. And watch how Bartosh hits the hole so fast right here. He sees it, doesn't hesitate, trusts it.
Third and 2. Smith drives forward. Smith in. Touchdown, Army. First of 2025 for Carson Smith. And the Black Knights tack on 6 more.
This Army offense has found their...
Wilkie, pressure from Ford. Who gets to him? He gets home in the sack, Eric Ford. He and Balsam combine on the big sack for Army, loss of 6.
Nice play by Eric Ford.
Off the edge for Nate Woody, defensive coordinator here at West Point. Second and long. Wilkie the mesh play. Balsam in pursuit. Puts him down from behind. And beat the block of the tight end there, Jake Young. Balsam effective, loss of 1.
Yeah, watch Jack Balsam here playing defensive end and how he tracks down Wilkie on the run. This is a really athletic play. C99, use the acceleration.
The third down. Shotgun. Ellis, time, deep ball, one short, who catches up with it, and grabs it for Army, Noah Short, big play, and explosive, the Black Knights need it, all the way to the 9, first and goal, for the Knights of the Hudson, the deep ball clicks for Jeff Bunkin and Army.
It's a nice call by Cody Worley. You're running the football well, so it's time to now rip it down the field. You can see how well Cale Helms is in rhythm in the pocket. Feels comfortable.
Army 1 for 1. Fourth down tries today so far. 4th and inches. Helms leaps. He's in. Touchdown Army. For the second time today. And 5th in the last 2 games. Cale Helms scores for the Black Knights.
And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club here on a Monday night, a holiday Monday for This Week in Army Football, recapping Army's victory over Charlotte on Saturday in front of a sellout crowd, and coming up on this Saturday, a trip to Tulane and a matchup with the Green Wave. Time now for our special guest and someone who, as we mentioned, has been a part of several block punts, blocking, scoring touchdowns for this Army team. None more important than in the final game of his freshman campaign, recovering a block punt for a touchdown at Army's victory over Navy. Earned his first start this past weekend in the defensive backfield. How about a big This Week in Army Football welcome, a native of Joliet, Illinois, senior defensive back Jabril Williams. Jabril, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Two guys from Joliet on the same stage here at West Point.
That's special. That is special. Man. Jabril, you've done a lot with this program. How did it feel, though, this past weekend, getting your first start in that defensive backfield?
It felt very good, honestly. Dream come true for sure, but it was an even more elated feeling just to see the defense rolling and performing in all cylinders and giving the chance to the offense to go out and perform too. There's no better feeling than seeing your team succeed and to get points on the board and eventually wins for the team, especially at home. That's a really big deal. So overall, awesome feeling. And
seeing a lot of snaps over the past few weeks. Jeff, what has it meant to you seeing the development of Jabril? And you have a great defensive coordinator in Nate Woody. Seeing Jabril get out there and really earn this playing time his first year.
I'm so proud of him and happy for him. He's earned it, and it happens in this program. If you just continue to stay the course and work and prepare, you're going to find yourself making contributions and in the game. And Jabril earned this opportunity, and it is very difficult to play that position at this level of college football. There are talented people that line up on the other side of the ball playing wide receiver in college football at this level, and Jabril is prepared and ready. He's confident. And that really has, I think, been just a culmination of all of the time he's put in, including the special team snaps. And those special team snaps, I think sometimes people kind of brush those off as well. He was not really a starter, just a special teams guy. I mean, start adding up the snaps. He's got hundreds of snaps on special teams over the course of his career. So he's ready for the moment. And Coach Woody does a great job, but Jabril and the other guys at the corner position are very well coached by Daryl Dixon. He does an outstanding job. I know he's a great mentor to these guys. Jabril would say so, I'm sure, and just a great technician. So he had Jabril ready to go too, and Jabril backed it up. He went out there and performed.
And Daryl's right next to me in the booth up in the Hoffman press box. So he knocks on the window right before the game starts. So, and you think about those special team snaps. How many times has a special team? I always say special teams and turnovers determine football games. And let's go back to your plebe year, Army-Navy game. You were at a different number 44 at the time, and that block punt. Army goes on to win the game in overtime. So that's as big of a play as any in that game. And I love to relive all these great Army-Navy moments. Take us through that play, the Noah Short block, and then your legs in the air, trying to keep your feet off the ground, that recovery for a touchdown.
I would say I did a really good job of almost completely blowing it and throwing the ball straight out of the end zone. Honestly, going back through that play, I remember vividly Noah coming up to Coach Turnio and telling him, I can do this, put me in the game. I know I can get there. And then he actually went in for Jimmy Charlo, and right before the ball snapped, I looked at Noah, and he gave me like a little side eye, and then the ball snapped, and things just went really fast, really quick. He got there. He made an extremely great play, and I think it's just a case of being the right person at the right time. Anyone on the depth would have made that play, and probably in a more better suitable position than myself. But anyone on the team or on the depth would have made that play, and it just so happened to be me and Noah, and I think it was a great feeling, honestly.
Oh, just a great feeling. And then I'm sure as a plebe, I've asked Noah this, how was it being a plebe, right? You're the lowest on the totem pole here at West Point, but you and Noah playing such a big part in that game, that had to feel really good.
It felt really good to be able to do that for the seniors, especially. And as a plebe, you're always toying with, am I supposed to do this? Is this right or is this wrong? Like, do I square this corner? Can I talk here? Like, and it translates to the field. Like, am I supposed to grab this ball? Like, am I doing this right? Am I doing that wrong?
They should have promoted him to third class at that point.
I mean,
there's sophomore.
There's got to be some things that would qualify, right? So that was, we joked about this when you came here to the First League Club before you came on the air. That was about 5 numbers ago for you. You're someone every year I got to make sure I know what number
How many different numbers have you worn?
Let's go through the numbers. You went through them. 13 was in there, right?
44, 13.
20-something, right?
44, 32,
32.
33 at one point, and then now number 6.
Yeah, 5 numbers.
How did you end up with 6? Because, of course, that was worn by Max DiDomenico 1 year ago.
I wore it originally in high school and then took a hiatus with 5 other numbers, but then I realized that Max was graduating and nobody on the defensive side actually wanted number 6 or had it up until that point. So I asked Max for permission, and he said, "Give me a minute to think about it to see if you can."
Like Max had a say in it.
But obviously, he's one of the most, in my opinion, one of the best safeties I've ever actually seen play the game. He was extremely smart, extremely aggressive. The plays he made, you can go back and you can watch him. He's an unbelievable player and even just a better teammate and guy outside of the facility. So to be able to receive that blessing from him and to be able to wear that number every single game, it's insane, honestly.
Jeff, you've said many times, we've talked about it, you made your bones in special teams as a coach, right? Is there a little special place in your heart for these guys that work their way through special teams, make big plays, and then start making an impact on offense and defense?
Oh, for sure. And you think of the guys over the course of the tenure I've been here. I think guys like Kalen Holt and Andy Davidson. And I mean, there's been a bunch of guys that cut their teeth on special teams and then became guys that played and were every down players for us over the course of their careers. So there's been a lot of those guys. John Trainer, I mean, think way back. Those guys have been returners or kick blockers or guys that were covering punts. And there's been a whole host of Army football players that have come up through the ranks, cut their teeth in special teams, and then become starters on offense and defense. And what's really been amazing is how many guys, even once they become starters on offense and defense, are still begging to get on the kickoff team and the punt team. Coach, let me go cover the kickoff, and don't pull me off of that team. And so we have a number of starters that are still on some of the special teams, and I think it's great. I'm glad to know they got that pride in the special teams.
How special? What's that, I guess, fraternity like of the Sauce team, right? What's that? What's it like being a part of that group?
It's everything that you would expect in an Army special teams player to be prideful in, to be enthusiastic, to be aggressive, to be we always say if you're not fired with enthusiasm, you'll be fired with enthusiasm. So it's a daily challenge to yourself, but not only to yourself, but to the other leaders in the special teams unit to bring that enthusiasm to every single drill, to every single practice, to whatever activity you're doing that day at the facility, and to motivate others to be just as sauced up as you are. And eventually we believe that leads into, that forms into making plays out in the field. And although people might think that special teams is such a small part of the game, you can make a very large impact. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
One of my favorite quotes, that's a Vince Lombardi quote. If you're not fired with enthusiasm, you'll be fired with enthusiasm.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You'll be fired.
I'm glad you remembered that one.
That's a good one. So let's go back. You talked about number 6 from your time in high school. Let's talk about the recruiting process and what was it that drew you here to West Point?
I was originally committed to Indiana State University, and I received a phone call from Coach Wall, and he's really the one who started this entire process for me, and I'm extremely thankful to him. Even to this day, whenever I see him, I give him a great big hug because none of this would be possible without him. I am truly indebted to him. I received a phone call from him, and he was like, "What do we have to do to get you to come to West Point?" I was like, "Coach, I'll come right now. I'll pack my bags." Little did I know I had to do a whole application, X, Y, and Z. I had to get a nomination. The prep school somewhere was thrown in there. But he said, "We're going to do whatever we have to do to get you here." It was kind of late in the process, but it didn't really even matter to me. I talked to my parents about it, and they were like, "This isn't your decision. This is our decision. You're going to West Point. like make no mistake." And I was like, "All right, I was just running it past you guys." And I like to say every single day, I'm truly living my dream, because this is my dream, playing Division I football, but not even just the Division I football part of it, just being around such high caliber people, such high quality people every single day. They're willing to go to work for you and to give every single aspect of their life. I mean, we talk about it all the time, the coaches, how much time you guys give up of your family and your daily life just to contribute to us for 12 weeks out of the season. Hopefully more than 12 weeks this year, but just so much time and effort they put into us. That's the kind of folks that I get to be with every single day. That's why I say I'm living my dream every single day.
And I know, Jabril, when you were recruited really coming out of COVID, and Gavin Shields shared with us a couple of weeks ago when he was our guest that he was originally committed to some other school. That just shows, Jeff, how dogged your recruiting is, right? Especially coming out of a time when, there weren't a whole lot of in-person visits and everything, going after, potential players where they were and everything. Those are two great gets of players that were committed somewhere else, Jabril and Gavin.
And
Casey.
Those are two of probably many.
Yeah.
But it's just part of the process here, and it oftentimes it happens late, and we go through a lot of names and we do a lot of evaluations, and sometimes we just happen upon a guy or get an email or a text or some information from another coach, and there's an old coach who used to say there's fortune in the follow-up. So we try to follow up on every lead we get, and what we end up with is some pretty good people and good players that really help us win a lot of games and make great teammates here.
So, Jabril, your high school, Joliet Catholic Academy, if I'm not mistaken, that's Rudy's alma mater, right? Isn't that where Rudy went? So, I mean, that's like a celebrity there, right?
My hometown gym is called Rudy's, and the coach there, his name is Rudy, but he's the brother of the actual Rudy Rudiger. Francis Rudiger is the guy whose gym I work out at every single day when I go home. Rudy was a huge part of my development, and Joliet Catholic football, huge dynasty in the state. Probably not as big as Coach's dynasty where he went, but yes, that is the alma mater of Rudy.
We got a dynasty in the wrong direction. Where I'm a public school kid over here, so Joliet Catholic was. So there was Joliet Catholic at St. Francis, two different schools, all boys, all girls Catholic high schools in town. They merged to make Joliet Catholic Academy several years ago. But coming up, my dad was my high school coach. He was the coach at Joliet East, and a legendary coach named Gordy Gillespie was the coach at Joliet Catholic High School. And my dad and Gordy squared off every year in the same Illini 8 conference. And Joliet Catholic they were formidable. They won. I think at one point they were 4 state championships in a row. I don't think they lost a game for 4 years. They were unreal, and really, that's a great program that Jabril comes from. And so the Sharps, Coach Sharp, that was Jabril's head coach. He and our family, the Sharp family and Monken family, been friends for many years. So when Coach Sharp said this is the right guy for you, I knew we had a gem here.
That's awesome. And law and legal studies major, Jabril, what are you looking forward to for being a commissioned officer?
I'm mostly looking forward to just being able to learn. Learning is what I'm most excited about, being able to help my soldiers in any way possible. I recognize that as soon as I get to my unit, I just got to be a sponge. I got to soak up as much as possible and be ready to pick up any tasks that they have ready for me, and also to just be there for whatever my soldiers might need, be it advice, be it leadership. I want to be that guy for them. So I just want to be a humble leader.
I'll tell you, Jeff, I just get more and more inspired when we have your players on this show. What a great representative of West Point and a future leader.
No question, and just that you can hear that humility, and he's going to be in a leadership position. He's going to be a great leader, and his soldiers will rely on him for many more things that he even knows. But just that humility that's going to rub off on them and make them team players. I'm sure he's going to be. He'll have one of the best units in the Army if he'll lead that way.
And I still think there's at least one more big play in Jabril Williams this season, or a touchdown, something, right? There's going to be something involving Jabril Williams between now and the end of this season. Jabril, we thank you for stopping by this show and really appreciate it. Best of luck here the rest of your first year.
Thank you.
Jabril Williams, Army defensive back, a first tee from Joliet, Illinois. When we come back, questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken in just a moment right here at the Cadet First Class Club on the Army Sports Network from Learfield. And welcome back to This Week in Army Football. We appreciate everyone coming out on this holiday Monday, including General Gilland, Superintendent of West Point, among those here in the crowd.
Leading the charge right there. Hey, the crowd changed. I knew the soup was in here when I heard that cheer. So thanks for being here, sir.
Thank you, General Gilland. Army fans, FW Web for plumbing, heating, HVAC, refrigeration, pipe, valves, fittings, and more. With extensive inventory, personalized service, over 100 locations, and a fleet of trucks across the Northeast. Visit fwweb.com for a location near you. Moving right along this week in Army football, Rich DeMarco joined by the head coach of the Black Knights, Jeff Monken. How about Jabril Williams? I'd tell you, he could do his own show.
He's an incredible kid.
It's amazing.
There's so many guys like that on our team, and there's so many young people here at West Point that if you interviewed them and they had an opportunity to talk about just the things that inspire them and motivate them and just their humility and servant-mindedness. I mean, there's so many impressive young people here. Really, America's best. They're here, and we get an opportunity to influence them and develop them into leaders that are going to serve our soldiers, to serve our nation, and it's just awesome. Jabril is what an incredible kid and just a great representative of our program, as well as the United States Military Academy.
And we appreciate everyone listening across the Army Sports Network, watching on YouTube. And I'll tell you what, we moved this show to Monday nights this year, and part of the reason that went into the decision was the opportunity to have cadet athletes on. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, each and every week, that's been a segment I am so glad we've had for the first time in your tenure here on this show. It's been terrific.
I'm glad we did it, and we've had some great guys on, and I know throughout the rest of the season we're going to have some really great guys to talk to and players that people recognize, and we'll be excited to hear from.
So other news coming out today. Well, what we've recapped on the show, Army coming off the win over Charlotte, 24-7, on the road at Tulane on Saturday. That's a noon kick time Eastern. Airtime across the Army Sports Network at 10 a.m. with the Army Football Tailgate Show from Yulman Stadium. Cal Helms will be under center to start that game for the Black Knights. Also released today, your team's game on the road at UTSA Thanksgiving weekend. That was in a either-or, Friday the 28th or Saturday the 29th after Thanksgiving. That was established today, finalized. Army will be at UTSA on Saturday, November 29th. Still the time and the TV network to be announced. How do you feel about that? I mean, you have a regular week. Well, you're coming off a bye, but the bye is the 15th. You have Tulsa the 22nd. You get the regular week instead of a shortened week.
I don't make those decisions, and we'll take the games whenever they tell us we got to play. That's kind of how I feel about that. But it is nice to have a whole week to prepare, and we're going to need a week to prepare for them. We could probably use more than that. UTSA is always a tough opponent, and they're one of the most talented teams in our league, and typically one of the top teams in our league. What a great battle we've had with them. Just the last several times we've played them, we've had an overtime game. We had last time down in the Dome, what a slugfest.
A real rivalry, it feels like. It does.
It was, and last year was just back and forth, and a great football game on Thanksgiving weekend a year ago. So obviously that one's pushed out a little bit here on the calendar, but we got a lot of other fish to fry between now and then.
Alamo is one of my favorite places. I'm going to have to find a place to hit it. Do you know that Pee Wee Herman's bike from the movie is actually on display at the Alamo right now?
Now, I did not know that, Rich.
Yeah,
but you would know that.
I know, and I have to go now
know stuff
see it.
like that.
And I'm a big fan of the movie.
I'm not sure why you know stuff.
When I'm
like
at the
that.
Alamo, I always ask where the basement is, and now it's on display there, so I got to take a look at it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people that always does. So Army at UTSA, Saturday, November 29th. Let's talk about Tulane in Yulman Stadium, New Orleans. Jeff, you're not going to want to hear this. Whenever I think of games down there, just tough luck for your team on the road against Tulane, it's felt like. Is it a place where, sometimes it's hot, early games, it's going to be 11 o'clock Central Time, local time kickoff? Is it anything you can do to prepare for the humidity and what you can expect down there?
We've just got to get ready for Tulane. And that the games that we've played down there, we haven't won down there. And they've had good football teams, and they've beaten us, and we've had some really close games.
Yep.
I remember I think the first one we went down there, we had the lead, and they came down, made three fourth downs on the way, and
remember the tight end reaching over for a first down.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they walked in on a zone read to our left, their right, to take the lead again, and then we went down there again and had a really warm, hot game that we punched one in to take the lead, and then they found their way into the end zone after that. We had one that maybe it was the pandemic year we went down there.
Yes, November of that year.
And we got the ball late. They had a lead, and we tried to fake a punt against punt safe, and that didn't work out. They scored. They kicked off. We tried to throw a throwback reverse. They picked it off and ran that in on the kickoff. It kind of went from bad to worse, but I wasn't going to lay down and just punt, and what you're doing is just conceding and saying, hey, well, you beat us. I was going to play the thing all the way out, and sometimes when you do that, they get a few scores at the end. But there've been some close games down there, and I hope we can make this a close game and give ourselves a chance to win in the fourth quarter. They've got a really talented team, an extremely well coached football team. Their head coach. The coordinators, Coach Gasparato was an assistant here as their defensive coordinator. Joe Craddock, their offensive coordinator, I think is a tremendous coach. Rusty Witt, their head strength coach, was on our staff here on the strength staff. So some ties to Army, and I think they just do a tremendous job. So it's a very formidable opponent, and it's going to take our very best effort, the best effort we put out all year.
Rematch of the American Championship game coming up on Saturday in New Orleans. Army and Tulane. We'll have more of This Week in Army football coming up in just a moment right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Just because the guys in the locker room, and that stands true today. I love these guys, love this school.
It's an incredible moment for Army football, for the United States Military Academy at West Point. It's just awesome. They're well led. These seniors, our captains, just did a tremendous job this year. And now we got the biggest game of the year coming up next week.
And welcome back to This Week in Army Football. Army at Tulane coming up on Saturday. Rematch, last year's American Championship game. Jeff, we were just talking during the break about the experience Tulane has. And while Darian Mensah, who had a tremendous breakout year last year in the American, moved on to Duke, it's not just Jake Retzlaff. Tulane, 4 quarterbacks who had started at least one game in their previous start on the Green Wave roster.
It's amazing now how teams are able to build their rosters, and it's not just Tulane. It's every team in the country. Certainly the academies are an exception with the transfer portal and NIL and those kinds of things, but it's creating parity across college football. And teams lose a quarterback like Mensah, then go to the transfer portal and get an experienced quarterback, not have to rely on a guy that's already in their program that's moving up. And that it has created a lot of competition for players, but also I think really good competition on the field. And it's a challenge. It does make it a challenge, but we're accustomed to challenges here.
No doubt about that. And again, last year it was Tulane and Army in the American Championship game. That was such a great moment at Michie Stadium. Freezing cold night. And the victory was 35-7 until late. I know they scored another late touchdown, right? We're thinking about that a lot lately, right? 35-14, the final, the confetti on the field, the trophy being presented. That was just what do you remember most about? That was such a great, great moment that night.
The performance of our players, just I think the determination that our guys had, the leading up, just how the season went, just continuing to stack the victories. We obviously had the disappointing loss down in New York City to Notre Dame, who's a great football team and played for the national championship. But beyond that, some really great victories, particularly at the end, that UTSA game and how hard fought that was to secure home field advantage for the championship game was awesome. And our guys were ready to go. I think the temperament of our team that entire week, I really felt good going into the game. Felt like we had a great chance to win and had a great spirit about us, and that came out in everything we did. It just seemed like everything went right. We were up 14-0, and we had a 4th and 3 down there on the north end, going into the scoreboard where the Corps Cadets were. And we got stopped, and then they came out and threw an interception, and we came right back down and scored again. So went up 21-0. Just everything kind of went our way. The kickoff, we knocked the ball loose on the kickoff.
Trey Granati, that's the highlight of that guy's career.
It was, just a lot of things went our way, and it was a great victory. And to win the league in our first year was awesome. So. They are a great football team and very well coached, and it's going to be a tough ball game. And as we were sitting here looking at these notes, I read here, I didn't realize that we're leading the nation in time of possession. And I said to you, think we can hold it for 60 minutes. I think we'll have a chance. So if we can hold it the entire game, we'd probably be in pretty good shape. But they're a good team, and it's going to take a great effort.
Well, let's talk about time of possession. Nearly 38 minutes your team held on to the football against Charlotte, and that had a lot to do. We're talking with the defense, right? And defenders talking about last year. The joke was they'd be on the field, they'd come off the field and be off the field for 30 minutes while the offense is on the field, and still being able to go back to that, which is such a big part of your offense, holding on to the football. 38 minutes, quite an accomplishment.
I think it's just trying to play complementary football, playing good team football, and for us, limiting the possessions that the other team has, that's going to give them fewer opportunities to score. If we can do that, then that's our offense really playing defense in its own way, and then certainly the defense going out there and getting 3 and outs and getting the other team off the field and allowing our offense to just take that thing and play ball control football. It is complementary football, and when we can do that, maintain possession and bleed clock and score points when we got it. It's a really good recipe for us, for sure.
Final round of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken coming up in just a moment right here on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield. And welcome back one more time at the Cadet First Class Club. This week in Army football, Army taking on Tulane coming up on Saturday, noon kick time from Yulman Stadium, airtime across the Army Sports Network at 10 a.m. Jeff, I think in basketball, college basketball, they talk about those middle 8 minutes, right? The last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half, how crucial they are to a basketball game. In football, I took that final drive going in and out of halftime 2 straight weeks. Dawson Jones, your kicker, who's got a lightning leg, gives your team a shot in the arm heading into the intermission. How big have those field goals been?
Those were great, and those are important. One of the things about getting the second half kickoff is just that opportunity to get that middle 8, as you say, to score a double up. They say you double up. You score before halftime, you score coming out of halftime, and there's a big stat with teams that are able to do that. Win more often than not. So what we weren't able to do the last time was score coming out. We hit that field goal on a really good drive at the end of half. In fact, we had just 2 possessions really before that. We had the opening drive for a touchdown. We had the unfortunate fumble on the first play of the second possession. But then the third possession, we took it down and scored again, went up 14-0, and right before half got the ball back. And like you said, 2 weeks in a row, able to take it down there, kick a field goal, go up 17-0. Great sequence there, and then got stalled out to start the second half, but got another score then in the second drive and kind of extended that lead. So really important those possessions right around the halftime.
At UAB, what they won the toss, they took the football 2 weeks ago, and then you won the toss this past Saturday against Charlotte and deferred. So your team, and we talked a lot about the offense, and I want to focus on one more position because I think it was early in the year, there was some improvement that was needed. Your offensive line has just steadily gotten better as this year has gone on, and maybe to be expected after the Joe Moore winning season 1 year ago. I'm not sure people realized the new players on that offensive line, and Teddy Williams, he's getting better, I think, by the play for your team. 2 crunching blocks against Charlotte.
He's getting better, and Henry Appleton is really coming into his own as a player at the left tackle position. We've got a very experienced guard box. Brady Small, our center, just a tremendous football player. Paolo Generali at the right guard and Will Jeffcoat at the left guard. That guard box is really, really good. Teddy Williams is playing tackle for the very first time in his life. He was a tight end in every season of his football career up until this season. And in the offseason, we moved him to offensive tackle. So there's going to be some growing pains with a guy like that. But he's long, he's athletic, and he is improving. I think Henry, like I said, at the left tackle is really having a good year. So and getting better. So that unit together is improving. And as that unit improves, I think we'll be better.
Well, Jeff, we thank you for another This Week in Army Football appearance.
Thanks, Rich.
Good luck on Saturday against Tulane.
We'll take all the luck we can get.
This broadcast, an exclusive presentation of Army West Point Sports Properties, a property of Learfield, under the broadcasting rights granted by the United States Military Academy at West Point. Broadcast copyrighted. Any rebroadcast or reuse of this presentation prohibited without the express written consent of the Academy. And Army West Point Sports Properties General Manager of Army West Point Sports Properties is Steve Tucker. Tony, Jimmy, and Skyler keeping us on the air. Zach Hoover and Brett Rory keeping us on YouTube. We'd like to thank our special guest, Jabril Williams, for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Rich DeMarco saying so long. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Army in Tulane coming up noon on Saturday. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.